Hello and welcome back to Catch and Cook, California. I'm Kevin, and it's summertime. I'm in this little riparian forest. It's an alder grove right along a creek. Everything's pretty shaded, so it's nice and green here. But just on the outside, it's like 100 degrees today. So it was super hot, and I started flipping through my old footage from wintertime, and I ended up finding that I've got probably enough footage for 2 videos. So this is quail hunting, wild green foraging, and wild mushroom identification and foraging, and cooking up a delicious meal back in mid-February. Let's go. Right along the edge of the woods here, I noticed this guy, and then this guy, and then this guy, and then these 2, and then this one down here. These are oyster mushrooms. These are our interior oyster mushrooms. They're much more firm than the angel wings out on the coast. But yeah, I'm gonna forage up some of those, and then I'm gonna go use them in my delicious lunch idea. I'm gonna make a wild green salad with quail and oyster mushroom balsamic crostini. You know why? Because I'm classy like that. Also, just look at how beautiful this old cottonwood is. There's this other mushroom here. Definitely not something most people would confuse with an oyster mushroom, though it does tend to grow in a shelf-like arrangement as well. But look at how furry it is, you know? Pretty cool. Bunch of mycelium living in this log. Mycelium being sort of the analogy I always give is the mycelium is the apple tree, the mushroom is the apple. So if you harvest the apple, the tree lives on. Well, inside this tree we have a mycelium associated with the oyster mushroom and with this other cool fungus. I don't know what this is called. I'm gonna cut some mushrooms. Boom. Oh man, they're perfect. No joke, I actually have you guys propped on another mushroom. That's my tripod right now. These guys are in beautiful, perfect shape. You'll know when you cut them, you want to look right here and see if you see any pinholes. And I see one tiny pinhole here. So what I'll do is I'll just trim off a little bit. That insect that has started burrowing in here is probably in the first maybe inch of this cap, and the rest of this cap is totally uninfested. If you listen, it's very, very firm, which is also excellent. And if you look in the gills, there's no little like spheres, little eggs from insects that are about to hatch and eat this whole thing. You know why? Because they didn't get to it before I did. I'm gonna eat this whole thing. Man, that is so awesome. Oh yeah. Also, they were growing in a shelf-like arrangement, which is very typical of oyster mushrooms. And what happens is the first cap will open up and it'll drop its spores on the cap below. So what we have here is a spore print, and those are white spores. That is one of the telltale signs of oyster mushrooms, which also like to grow in a shelf-like arrangement on wood, unequivocally growing on wood. They have a cap and stem that is all one piece. They have true gills like pages in a book, and those gills run down from the cap onto the stem if the stem is even present. This one, for instance, didn't have a stem. It's just a shelf on the actual tree. Last 5 minutes of the hunt. I just shot a quail, so we're gonna see if we can get another one, and then I gotta head out of here. It's great to get your mushrooms, but it's also great to be gathering information, not just food, every time you go out. And one thing I'm always doing whenever I'm foraging, regardless of the season, is I'm always scouting for the next things. So here we have this exceptional patch of Himalaya blackberry. It's non-native, produces some of the sweetest, most delicious fruit you're gonna find around. It's obviously not in fruit now, but in the mid to late summer, it will be completely loaded with fruit. And now I know a good spot to come back to. So just keep your eyes open and you know, just keep thinking. Think like a forager, you know? You can see these massive cottonwoods behind me. So, so beautiful. Oyster mushroom territory. Bam. Miner's lettuce. Absolutely exceptional, totally delicious. This was one of the very first wild plants I ever learned to forage when I was a kid. My dad told me about this one. I remember eating it out in the fields with my brother. We'd be hiking around, having a grand old time, and then start to get a little hungry. It's not as though it's gonna fill you up completely, but it was always nice. And as far as making a salad goes, this stuff is exquisite. It's got a nice little sweetness to it, very delicate. And you can see it's growing right in here with a patch of that milk thistle. And the miner's lettuce is native, but the milk thistle is not. And the miner's lettuce is only gonna get this high, but the milk thistle is gonna get huge and it's gonna crowd it out and it's gonna kill all this. So all the more reason to pick some of that as well. And this is a non-native species, so if you want to take the whole plant, go right ahead. I usually just take a few here and there, just because that way I don't have to pull up the root and mess around with a bunch of dirt getting on my greens. Kablamo. Bunch of goodies there. So, way more important than worrying about whether or not you're getting dirt on these is, do you harvest right next to a trail where dogs might come by and pee on your greens, or humans might come jogging by and pee on your greens? Probably not a good idea. Way more important than that is roadsides. It's actually policy for Caltrans and for a bunch of other power companies and whatnot to spray the sides of roads, to spray power line cuts through the woods. They spray herbicide, which is poison. And if you're out there and you're foraging, it could be the day before, you know, you're out there, they just sprayed it, you don't know that, you're picking next to the roadside, you're eating that. And I'm hoping I can find this old clip that I have from Davis when I was doing my PhD, where you actually see very clearly everything's green and then there's a perfect line right next to the path, everything is brown, and that is because they sprayed poison all over it. Well, you don't know if they sprayed poison the day that you're foraging, so don't forage next to roads. General rule is just like get 20 feet off the road and you're fine. Hey, all right, another green. This is chickweed. Boom, super distinct. And if you look very carefully, let me get this thing in focus. Focus, thank you. It has one line of hairs that goes right up the side of the stalk. And when you break it, it's not going to drip out any white juice or anything like that. It's just going to be clear. And it's super distinct. It grows in huge carpets, and it's freaking delicious. Got my olive oil, got my stove. My brother keeps teasing me. He says my stove looks too modern. If I'm going to keep the old ways alive, I need an older stove. So next time I'm bringing an old school stove. Got my spice kit that my brother made me. It's looking pretty good. I definitely tore that skin a bit. Let me know in the comments if you've got a special trick for plucking birds. Okay. Just a little bit of oil, a little bit of butter, some salt and pepper. We're just gonna fry that bad boy till it's done. I'm gonna set it aside. I'm gonna go through and set up my wild greens, mix in a little balsamic vinaigrette, and then I'm also going to make my nice little mushroom crostini. That is smelling good already, and all it is oil and quail. Oh, they look beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. You can hear it. It's beautiful. I'm so excited. Okay, I'm going to set this guy aside, and then I'm going to make the mushroom crostini. and the salad. I'm so incredibly bummed right now. I didn't bring my bread. And the sun's gonna go down in about a half an hour. I cannot go back and get it. What I had hoped to show you today is the crostini that I make at the end of each of my wild, edible, and deadly poisonous mushroom identification courses. This balsamic, garlic, shallot, herb kind of mushroom medley over a little chèvre over a nice little crostini, and that's the normal, you know, appetizer I serve at the end of that course. But I didn't bring my bread, so it looks as though I'm gonna mix it up. I'm just gonna put mushrooms on a salad with my quail. Neglect is what I did, but it's gonna be delicious. Beautiful avo. The sun is going down. Oh, wait. I can't forget the mushroom. Hang on. Mushroom. Boom. Going on there. Check it out. Caramelized onion, some raw onion. This is chickweed right here. Goat cheese, thistle green. Got miner's lettuce right here. Got our oyster mushroom, wild oyster mushroom. Got avocado, tomato down in there. And then right here, wild quail. That's cool. Got some salt right there on the end. Some pepper. Oh man, I'm excited. All right, there you go. Bam. All right, so I'm gonna get into this mushroom right here. Nice, meaty, delicious oyster. Do you hear that? That's got amazing texture. Oh my God. The flavor too. I didn't film it, but I threw some thyme, oregano, garlic, shallots, butter, olive oil, salt, and pepper in there with that. And wow, that's super good. Got some caramelized shallot, avocado, goat cheese, thistle green, and miner's lettuce on this bite. Dude. Wow. I'll be honest, a lot of people have a lot of negative things to say about salads. And I take it as a personal point of pride that my salads are good. That's that beautiful quail breast. Oh my God. Some tomato. Chickweed. Dude, I was a little worried without the crostini, but I'm not worried anymore. This is so good. A bunch of weeds. That's what this is. Oh yeah, weeds. If you're looking for a good starting point, you know, to learn how to forage, obviously come take one of my courses. But if you're not in California, check out the YouTube channel by Green Dean called Eat the Weeds. It's a really good spot to start. Yum. The goat cheese, dude, ties the whole thing together. Oh, you know what? The whole time I've been talking, I've just been eating the white meat too. Still got the legs. Let's get in there. Oh, dude, come on. That's so good. I still got some meat on here, so I'm gonna eat the rest of that. But in the meantime, keep the old ways alive. That's one of my favorites right there. Got all these like wild rose thorns stabbing me. Yeah, this guy. Use your hands, Kev. But even if you did, if you wash them and everything, it should be okay. Though who wants to eat pea greens? Not me. When I do serve this to my clients at the end of the mushroom identification courses,